Welcome back to the 17 News at Sunrise podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
Good morning. Right now at 5, an update this morning on the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine candidate. The company says it's even more effective than first thought, and they're seeking approval very soon.
As his claims of election fraud mount, President Trump fires his top election security official. As one of Trump's key allies assures the public, there will be an orderly transition.
Empty fields and mounting bills. Local youth sports leagues face tough choices as the pandemic wears on, threatening to shutter the leagues for future generations. This is Wednesday, November 18th, 2020. Good morning. It's 5 a.m. Good to have you with us. I'm Maddie Jansen alongside Alex Fisher, and our one-day return to summer seems to have come to an end.
I think this was the shortest heat wave. I know it's not technically a heat wave, but the shortest warm-up I've ever experienced.
Yeah.
It was just not even a day. It was just several hours, and you could already feel the cool down by the afternoon. Yeah. Let's turn things over to Kevin Charette as we deal with a 20-degree drop in the weather department.
Yeah, those temperatures are all said and done, but it was definitely warm if you were out and about yesterday afternoon. Record-breaking temperatures. And again, we talked about that downsloping wind off the Tehachapi's, that easterly wind, and that will warm us up really quick. And that's exactly what happened yesterday. So let's talk about that temperature. What was it? Well, we had 87 degrees if the computer will work. And you can see the old record was 84, and we hit that back in 2008. So it was definitely a warm afternoon. But again, we're going to shave about 20 degrees off that for you as we progress into this afternoon. Satellite and radar not showing much. We've got clear skies out there right now. The one thing you're looking at is, yes, some light showers trying to make their way into Lost Hills. This system is going to be positioned more northerly today. We're only going to put in about a 20% chance into the valley. And I'm not talking Bakersfield, really. I'm looking more out near Lost Hills, McKittrick, Taft, if we see anything at all. So the western fringes of Kern County. Here's a look at our temperature right now. For Bakersfield, we're sitting at 57, a south wind at 6 miles per hour. And as we take a look at the temperatures throughout the day, a big difference from yesterday with 60s throughout the afternoon. As we take a look at the mountains, 32 degrees out there right now, so definitely a chill in the air. Remember, yesterday we were in the 50s and 60s. The southeast wind at 3. And as we take a look at the wind forecast today, there will be a light breeze out there, but there are no watches and warnings for those winds. And you can see here the time clock, Thursday, 5 a.m. We may see some stronger of those winds out near the Mojave area. As we take a look at the watches and warnings, we are in the clear, and hour-by-hour forecast for the mountains will be rising into the mid-50s this afternoon, by 5 p.m. in the upper 40s. I'll have more in your forecast. That's coming up in just a little bit.
All right, thanks, Kevin. And new this morning, Pfizer says it's seeking to have its coronavirus vaccine approved within days. This after a final analysis of the vaccine trials suggests it's more effective than previously thought. Pfizer, which developed the vaccine with German partner BioNTech, now says its vaccine is 95% effective, up from the 90% announced last week. Among the more than 41,000 people in the trials, the company says there have been no serious side effects, with the most common being fatigue and a headache. Pfizer says it will file within days for an emergency use authorization with the FDA. The news comes days after Moderna, a biotech company based in Massachusetts, said early analysis from its own phase 3 trial suggested its vaccine candidate was 94.5% effective.
222 more people have tested positive for coronavirus here in Kern County. That is above our daily average. Public health officials now say more than 37,000 people have been infected with this virus. No new deaths were reported once again. Public health has not reported additional deaths in nearly a week. 73 people are currently in the hospital. That's up 13 from Monday. And as cases continue to rise locally, health officials are concerned about hospital capacity. State models show our local doctors and nurses could have a very busy and stressful few months ahead as hospitalizations are expected to increase. When we first started talking about coronavirus back in March, the phrase flatten the curve was frequently used. Now, more than ever, it's important we try to do what we all said at the beginning of this pandemic. We learned from public health yesterday that 10% of people in Kern County who tested positive for coronavirus had to go to the hospital. That's about 3,700 people in Kern County. About 1,100 of those had to spend time in the ICU.
The bottom line is we are seeing increasing cases in Kern. Our hospitals are still doing well. However, we have seen an increase in hospitalization. As the governor says, there's about a 3-week delay between when we actually see increased cases and when we start to see cases in our hospitals. We're at about 2 weeks at that 3-week time frame. So we do expect our hospitals to become more busy.
Our worst day for hospitalizations was on August 2nd when 321 people needed treatment. Local health officials say there are 889 beds available right now and then an additional 59 ICU beds. However, the good news, the county has 14 traveling ICU nurses to help with the strain. Meantime, state leaders say they were more prepared for this increase with more surge bed capacity and additional PPE.
In the midst of the second wave, the federal government is set to close down federally run COVID-19 testing sites in the Golden Empire. But the county says it's doing the opposite, ramping up its efforts to get people tested and offering a new incentive. Federal testing sites are set to shut down on Friday. Those resources slated to be deployed in other areas of the U.S. where the virus is quickly spreading. But public health officials say county-run testing sites are here to stay.
We still have mobile testing. We still have our OptumServe and our county sites going. And so there is still ample free testing available in our community.
In fact, the county is stepping up incentives for people to get tested. Yesterday, supervisors unanimously approved $360,000 in federal CARES Act funding for 12,000 Visa gift cards. Anyone who receives a test in what are considered the county's 35 lowest census tract areas, or in other words, poorer areas, will receive a card after the test. The limit, 1 card per person per day. Supervisors say it's a win-win, getting more people tested while also helping them financially.
County supervisors held a closed session yesterday going over the findings of a Department of Justice investigation into the Kern County Sheriff's Office and the Bakersfield Police Department. More than 4 years after that investigation began. The investigation studied local law enforcement practices. A Sheriff's Department spokesman says KCSO has been in ongoing contact with the DOJ and has already implemented some, but not all of the suggestions. The BPD, which was originally also part of the probe, has not been contacted recently by the DOJ, according to the city attorney's office. Following the closed session yesterday, the Board of Supervisors did not release any information about the findings in that report.
17 Crime Watch now. The sheriff's office sounding the alarm about a new phone scam with criminals pretending to be with the agency. KCSO says a scammer claiming to be with the sheriff's office calls or leaves a voicemail telling you missed a court date and a warrant will be issued for your arrest if you don't call back. KCSO says it's a scam. If you get a suspicious call, you're asked to call KCSO and report it. Their number is 861-3110. A slight delay for this year's already unorthodox Bakersfield Christmas Parade. It's been pushed back a week. The parade's going virtual this year because of the pandemic. According to the parade website, the new virtual experience will be delayed and run on TV on December 17th. The parade will be made up of individual videos sent in by local families. If you'd like to participate, you can still send your videos in. The deadline was also moved back to November 30th. To apply, visit bcparade.com.
KGET Business Watch is brought to you by Grapevine MSP Technology Services, the Valley's leading IT service provider.
Welcome back to your 17 Business Watch. As Kern County moves back into the toughest tier of coronavirus restrictions, food trucks are staying in business. And the tourist site, Visit Bakersfield, is exploring 3 local food trucks in Bakersfield in a new webinar. It's called The Sound of Curbside Cuisine, featuring local eateries. It's happening this morning at 10. You can check it out on visitbakersfield.com. The Thanksgiving feast is going to look very different across the country this year. Smaller gatherings, meals over Zoom, and yes, even smaller portions. NBC's Dan Shinneman takes a look at how to embrace the micro-Thanksgiving without sacrificing your favorite foods.
Thanksgiving may be smaller this year, but that doesn't mean the food has to be any less festive. Though downsizing the main attraction may be easier said than done.
Obviously, a smaller turkey is a possibility, but maybe hard to find.
Personal chef Jill Aker-Ray says it's okay to think even smaller.
I really love to do Cornish hens. They're a teeny tiny little chicken, and they're easy to do for individuals or for small groups. The other thing I love to use is turkey tenderloin. They're really versatile.
And if you are tackling the entire turkey,
the general rule of thumb is that you need about 1.5 pounds of turkey per person. Thanksgiving is on Thursday. Start thawing it in your fridge on Monday.
They're already seasoned.
Want something a bit more low-key? Chef Jill says try a sheet pan Thanksgiving or maybe an all-in-one casserole.
That has all the Thanksgiving favorites in it, from mashed potatoes to green beans to stuffing to sweet potatoes to the turkey itself.
For the person that is more likely to make a reservation than a meal, make this the year you order in.
I think, again, this year, outsourcing is the way to go. You're supporting local. Again, with restaurants and things, a lot of them are doing smaller size.
Whether you cook or order out, take the time to give thanks for what you do have and the fact that 2020 soon is coming to an end. Dan Scheneman, NBC News.
Welcome back. You may have heard the term swatting before, but now a Florida woman speaking out to let others know how terrifying and dangerous the prank can become. Zach Barrett has the story.
Sarah Courtney's normal Friday changing with one call from Northport PD.
He said, I need you to walk outside. SWAT team is surrounding your house or your neighborhood.
This video showing the moment Sarah walked outside looking for the SWAT teams.
SWAT team and cop cars came down the road from both sides.
Officers tell Sarah they got a call saying something awful happened to her.
Someone had called them and said they were my husband and said that they caught me having an affair and had murdered me.
The false crime report forcing police action is known as swatting.
Who would do this? Like, why me? Why would someone say my husband killed me?
After police finished searching the home, they quickly realized that they were being watched by the culprit through the doorbell.
You guys better walk away.
This person who had been watching this through a live view addressed the cop and just started saying some vulgar stuff.
Yo, what the? Hello?
Sarah's email and in turn her Ring app was hacked, giving the suspect total control over the doorbell's camera.
Yo, what's up?
When I got home, he saw me get home. He saw me push the doorbell camera. He knew I was here.
Duarte Perea is the chief technical officer for cybersecurity company Phi Tech Guild. He says the password is the problem.
It's kind of easy for the hacker once if you're using the same password. It defeats the purpose of having a password.
He says if you have a Ring doorbell, make sure you have 2 layers of security that will notify you if someone else logs in.
Just go through the motions of that. So normally you'll set up like another way of authentication, like, they will send you a text with a number every time you log in.
In a statement, Ring says in part they don't have evidence their doorbell was compromised, just the Courtney's email. Meanwhile, Sarah wants the hackers caught for her family's peace of mind.
You don't really know where it is, who it is, and it's really unsettling.
All right, Kat, thanks so much. Your time now is 5:32. 17 News is your local election headquarters. President Trump announced he's firing his top election security official, Chris Krebs. The news came on Twitter. It was expected. Krebs repeatedly said the president's claims of election fraud are not true. Tracy Potts has more from Washington.
Alex, good morning. Good morning, everyone. It was like being on death watch. That, according to one person close to Chris Krebs, saying he was waiting to be fired after speaking out against the president's theories about the election. The Trump administration official who called this the most secure election in American history found out on Twitter he's been fired. Top U.S. election security official Chris Krebs started the Rumor Control blog, debunking President Trump's baseless claims of fraud.
I do have confidence that the vote is secure, the count is secure, and the results will be secure.
The president called him highly inaccurate. Krebs tweeted, "Honored to serve. We did it right." The Biden team says he should be commended for his service in protecting our elections, not fired for telling the truth. Krebs' firing comes as the Trump administration continues to deny President-elect Joe Biden classified briefings.
There's no reason not to be giving former Vice President Biden and Senator Harris the intelligence briefings.
I've been unable to get the briefings that ordinarily would have come by now.
The president's chief ally on Capitol Hill reassuring the public.
We're going to have an orderly transfer from this administration to the next one. What we all say about it is frankly irrelevant.
Biden also shut out of coronavirus planning. The latest report from the White House task force warns of aggressive, unrelenting, expanding, broad community spread, noting holiday gatherings could make things worse. President-elect Biden is meeting with frontline healthcare workers today. Plus, we're hearing from leaders of top medical groups. They're urging the Trump administration to share this COVID data with the Biden transition team. I'm Tracy Potts, 17 News.
All of this as Bakersfield's own Congressman Kevin McCarthy is back at the helm of the House Republicans. The congressman was reelected as the House Minority Leader. McCarthy was a major fundraiser for GOP House candidates this election cycle, and the party picked up more seats than expected. Yesterday, McCarthy tweeted the House Republicans are the most united and energized group now than he has ever seen, with a record number of women, minorities, and veterans joining Republicans in Congress.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.